Let me be very clear about something. When the Galactic Cooperative assigned me to monitor Sector 7 Bravo, which is a polite bureaucratic way of saying, the corner of the universe nobody wants to babysit, I was not expecting anything remarkable. I was expecting rocks. Gas clouds. Maybe a few dimly lit civilizations arguing about agriculture. What I was not expecting was humans. More specifically, I was not expecting her. Her name, as far as our translation matrices could determine, was Dara Volkov. She was 23 years old. She stood approximately 1.6 meters tall. She weighed, by human standards, what their own species would describe as average. By Skethali standards, she weighed approximately the same as a juvenile swamp crawler, which is not an insult, it is simply a fact that our swamp crawlers are enormous. She shared a living unit, an apartment, as the humans call it, with a Drevithi exchange student named Quill, full name Quillentherax Bova, who had come to Earth on an academic cultural exchange program designed to promote interspecies harmony, diplomatic goodwill, and the paperwork required to justify both. Now, Quill was not a criminal. I want you to understand that. Quill had made one mistake. 1. He had, quite accidentally, registered his temporary residency under the wrong planetary jurisdiction code, which meant that, technically, on paper, in a filing cabinet somewhere that nobody had opened in 6 years, he was listed as an unregistered non-terrestrial biological entity operating without cooperative clearance. That is the kind of violation that normally results in a strongly worded letter. A form to fill out. Perhaps a 30-credit fine. Nothing more. But the Cooperative Compliance Bureau, bless their cold bureaucratic hearts, had recently hired a new division. Special Retrieval Unit 9. And Special Retrieval Unit 9 had, at some point between their formation and this particular morning, confused the concept of diplomatic sensitivity with optional. 5 of them showed up at the apartment building at 0600 hours, local Earth time. 5. For a paperwork error. I watched all of this on the surveillance feed, because my job, technically, is to observe. My superior officer, Commander Veth, had told me at the start of my assignment, Vorn, do not interfere. Do not intervene. Do not make eye contact with the situation. You are an observer. That was fine. That was reasonable. I had fully intended to observe quietly, file my report, and eat my meal ration in peace. Then Dara Volkov opened her front door. She was wearing what humans call pajamas, which appear to be thin cloth garments designed for sleeping but which, on Dara Volkov, appeared to be a full tactical uniform, because the expression on her face suggested she had not slept, had been awake for some hours, and had already anticipated that someone was going to come through that door before sunrise and ruin her morning. The lead operative, a compliance officer named Brek Sallo, held up his identification badge and said, in the formal cooperative standard tongue, "We are here for the Drevithi National. Stand aside." Dara looked at the badge. She looked at Brek Sallo. She looked at the 4 operatives standing behind him. She looked back at the badge. "Do you have an Earth jurisdiction warrant?" she said. Brek Sallo blinked. "This is a cooperative matter." "This is an Earth address," said Dara. "Do you have a warrant?" There was a pause. Brek Sallo had clearly not prepared for this question. This was, I noted in my report, his first mistake. The cooperative has authority over registered non-terrestrial nationals who are in violation of. "That's a no," said Dara. "You don't have a warrant." She then, very calmly, very quietly, closed the door. There was a long silence on the surveillance feed. I leaned closer to my monitor. Commander Veth, who had been pretending to review supply manifests behind me, had also leaned closer to his monitor. Neither of us said anything. We simply waited. Brek Sallo knocked again. Dara opened the door again. This time she was holding a small rectangular device in her hand, pointed directly at the group of 5 armed compliance operatives standing in her hallway. You are being recorded, she said. Timestamp, location, badge numbers. All of it. Brek Sallo made his second mistake. He reached forward, took the device out of her hand, and said, "This is now evidence." What followed next was, in the combined recorded history of Skethali intelligence surveillance, the single most efficient 4-minute sequence of events I have ever personally witnessed. And I have been doing this job for 11 years. Now, I need to pause here and give you some important context about human anatomy, because what happened next will not make sense without it. Humans, on paper, are soft. They have no natural armor plating. No reinforced skeletal exoskeleton. No venom glands, no subdermal pressure shielding, no redundant organ clusters. By every biological metric the Cooperative uses to assess species threat potential, humans score somewhere between a Pulhari sand bird and a moderately annoyed houseplant. This is, as it turns out, a spectacular failure of every metric we use. Dara Volkov did not shout. She did not threaten. She did not deliver a speech. What she did, in the time it takes a Skethali analyst to reach for his communication tablet and whisper, "Commander, are you seeing this?" was the following. She stepped forward, not backward. Most beings, when faced with 5 armed operatives in a narrow hallway, step backward. This is instinct. This is survival logic. Dara Volkov apparently did not receive that particular memo, because she closed the distance between herself and Brek Sallo to approximately 0, took her recording device back from his hand with the smooth confidence of someone retrieving their own property from a child, tucked it into her pajama pocket, and then looked at him with an expression that every single one of my translation matrices flagged as, "I am giving you one final opportunity to make a better decision." Brek Sallo, magnificently, did not make a better decision. He signaled to his team to advance. What happened to Operative number 1, whose name was Jord Pennek, took approximately 8 seconds. He was the largest of the 5. He had 230 pounds of Cooperative standard tactical training behind him. He reached for Dara's arm. She was not there when his hand arrived. There was some kind of pivot involved, a rotation of her body I had to slow down the footage to actually understand, and then Jord Pennek was against the wall, his own arm folded behind him at an angle that clearly surprised him more than it hurt him. For exactly 1 second, he appeared to be wondering how this had happened. Then the wondering stopped because he was on the floor. I typed into my report, "Subject displays combat proficiency. Escalating observation priority." Then I deleted it and typed, "Subject is handling the situation." Then I deleted that too because it felt inadequate. Operatives 2 and 3 came together, which is standard Cooperative breach protocol, which is designed for situations involving non-human species with slower reaction processing. Against Dara Volkov, it essentially meant that she had 2 problems arriving at the same time, which, based on what I was watching, appeared to be something she preferred over dealing with them one at a time. Less waiting. I will not detail every single movement because honestly I am still not entirely sure what I witnessed. I have reviewed the footage 14 times. There was an elbow involved. A doorframe. At one point, one operative appeared to trip over another operative, and I cannot confirm with certainty whether that was accidental or if Dara had somehow factored that into her movement 3 steps earlier. The result was that, within 90 seconds of Brek Sallo signaling the advance, 3 of his 5 operatives were sitting on the hallway floor in various states of confusion and bruised dignity. Brek Sallo and Operative 5 had not moved. They were standing very still. This was, finally, the correct decision. Dara straightened her pajama top, pulled her recording device from her pocket, and checked that the footage was intact. She reviewed it. She nodded once. "Quill," she called back into the apartment, in a perfectly conversational tone, the kind of tone you use when asking someone if they want tea, "Can you grab the emergency contact card from the blue folder? The one your university gave you. The one with the diplomatic liaison numbers." From somewhere deeper in the apartment, a slightly panicked Drevithi voice responded, "Aye." Yes. Yes, I have it. I am finding it. Dara looked at Brek Sallo. His paperwork is a residency code error. It was filed incorrectly by the intake office at the exchange program. The correction request has been submitted for 4 months and nobody has processed it. She tilted her head slightly. 4 months. Brek Sallo opened his mouth. Then he closed it. He was, I noted with some professional respect, finally learning. You are going to leave, said Dara, and you are going to flag this case for administrative correction, and nobody is going to touch my roommate over a filing error that was not his fault. And if anyone from your unit comes back to this address without a proper Earth jurisdiction warrant, every second of this footage goes to 3 different press organizations, 2 legal advocacy groups, and, just for fun, the Cooperative Diplomatic Review Board. She smiled. It was a small smile. Polite, almost. Have a good morning, she said. Brek Sallo collected his operatives. 2 of them needed help standing. They left. The hallway was quiet. Dara stood in her doorway for a moment, watching them go. Then she went back inside, and the door clicked shut behind her with the most ordinary sound in the universe. In the apartment, I could hear Quill saying, in a trembling voice, Dara. Dara, what just happened? And Dara said, I made coffee. You want some? There was a long pause. Yes, said Quill. Yes, I think I need some. I sat back in my chair. Commander Veth, behind me, exhaled very slowly through all 4 of his breathing slits. Neither of us spoke for a while. Then Veth said, update your threat assessment file on the human. Which category? I asked. Another pause. All of them, he said. I updated the file. I added a personal note at the bottom, which is not standard protocol, but which I felt was necessary for the sake of any future analyst assigned to this sector. It read, do not underestimate the small ones. Especially when they are calm. Especially when they are smiling. Especially before they have had their coffee. I saved the note. I flagged it as priority reading. Then I went back to watching Sector 7 Bravo, and I did not even for one moment, feel like I was watching rocks and gas clouds anymore. Friends, if you are enjoying our videos and want to watch new and exciting sci-fi and HFY stories every day, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to turn on the bell icon so you never miss any of our latest uploads. Like the video and share it with your friends as well, so our community can continue to grow and bring you even more amazing content.